All right. So today's discussion, we're going to talk about something that I'm surprised hasn't been hitting the mainstream as of yet, right? So with delinquencies up,
Whew.
Hank, what do you think is going to happen? I don't know, come the end of April, right? As Jesus has already rose
Mm-hmm.
um, Easter, right? What's going to happen?
Um, I would think that not just the federal government, but I think the business world, in addition to federal government, recognizing the enormity of the situation, not just for housing, but for employment, healthcare, schools. All of them will have to start to work together.
Yeah,
Um, there's no way that the federal government can do it alone, and no one expects the federal government to do it alone. But I think that from a civic responsibility, these companies they're going to have to do something. Um, and even though the law protects a lot of people, there has to be some relief. Otherwise, you're going to have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people homeless.
now hold on. When you say the companies have to do something, you're talking specifically about the mortgage holders, correct?
Well, not just the mortgage holders, but there has to be something for all of the other companies. Because see, I don't think it's isolated in the sense that just the mortgage companies. I
Right.
think the mortgage companies, the banks, other financial institutions, um, other businesses, other municipalities. Can you imagine if all of a sudden 40 or 25,000 people in Indianapolis, or families of Indianapolis, Indiana, are now homeless?
Yeah.
Now you have a different type of crises.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. I would imagine that the states and the cities are possibly trying to find ways to to turn some of the P3 money
Right.
into some type of housing relief programs, because there's money already in the program for renters or what have you, and the moratorium um, affects people. But that bill is going to come due, and it's going to be a big bill. So there has to be some restructuring going on, and I don't know. Um,
Yeah. I think it's also interesting. I know that on our Monday meeting, we in the Monday meeting we discussed a little bit about how important it is for landlords to receive benefits. So for landlords who have people who have tenants that aren't paying, right?
Correct. Yeah.
What exactly are they doing um, in between, basically? And there should be something done. I mean, I don't have the answer for that. I don't know if it's basically um, some type of credit mixed with um, a modification mixed with a whatever else. I have no idea,
Mhm.
but I can
It's Go
something.
ahead, please.
No, something else has to be done because you're looking
Yeah.
at numbers for FHA,
Yes.
and obviously not every loan is an FHA loan. That just happens,
Hallelujah. That's
especially,
right.
yeah.
It's
This
crazy.
this is debt that essentially the government or maybe China
Hmm.
is basically holding. So if just think about someone's
Hmm.
portfolio and a quarter of it being in default.
Well, I was looking at something that says in 30 metro cities, the delinquency rate is as high as 20%.
Yeah,
Now, I don't know the breakdown of mortgages per financial entity Fannie, Freddie, FHA, VA, commercial, traditional, whatever. But if you look, say, if it was Indianapolis, there are a little over 1 million people. You'd say that three people household, so you're looking at 300,000 plus.
Right. Yeah.
And 20% of that is a lot of folk to have to go someplace. So I would imagine that the mortgage companies would not want their property to go vacant because I don't think there are not enough other people to buy vacant property to displace the people who are being displaced. Did that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense because it's a catch-22. If you if you basically evict, foreclose, whatever, on the people who lose that home, where do they go? Because most landlords or companies, whatever, they want to have different things, such as we talked about this on Monday, such as rental history. They want to make sure that you have a good credit. They want to make sure that you haven't been foreclosed on. They want to make sure that you have 3 times the rent. And if you're in that category of that 25% or so, a fifth or a fourth of people who are not able to do that, well, where do they go? Because you're not able to qualify the cookie cutter things unless there's other mom and pops that will just kind of take you in without doing their chosen due diligence.
And I was just, and again, we're talking FHA, but you remember I said that everybody else has got some skin in this game.
Absolutely.
Okay. So with everybody else, I would imagine that there will be restructuring, there will be some deferring, there will be some forgiving. Because if you move out of your house, you got to go someplace. So now your credit score has tanked. So if you try to find another place, you can't. So I think the laws will have to change to give a caveat, some relief to individuals who were victim of the pandemic. It might be some special legislation. Okay.
Yep.
But it's not business as usual. You can't just pull the shades and pretend that the sun isn't shining.
You cannot do it.
Right.
And this, you're right. And this is going to be a topic that I believe will probably be a large part of the discussion the middle of the year until next year, because whatever decisions are made, those decisions are going to echo.
Oh, yes, absolutely. But I'm a little bit more pessimistic. Not only and I think we talked about this a little bit the other day. There are a number of large companies who had monstrosity buildings that the pandemic required them to have their employees to work remotely.
Yeah.
And because those companies have learned how to work remotely, there's no longer a need for massive square footage of office space.
Zilch. No need.
Which thought those office spaces now may have to be converted to suitable living space to house the individuals who are being forced out because they can't meet their debt service on mortgages or rental or what have you.
Which I'm with you. But I want to say this: if or when this happens or that happens, that is a government program. So I know some people don't like the fact that people are receiving money. But
get over it.
Right? Yeah, seriously, because that's going to be a government program, and that's essentially people receiving money. So it's one of those things where, for the solution, either it's paid now or it's paid later. It can be paid in a housing program, or it can be paid to current landlords or current property owners. But either way, it has to be paid at some.
But let's just look at it. Say you are a land baron and you have a couple triplexes and quadruplexes and maybe 18, 20 unit buildings, multifamily units. And the people that are living in it can no longer make payment, which means that now you can't make payment. What do you want to happen? You still want someone to occupy your building so you can make money and pay your bills.
And it's not destroyed.
That's right. But if you have to throw them out and you can't meet your mortgage payments, now your credit is being impacted. And you say, well, I didn't do anything wrong. Well, the people who live in your place didn't either. So it's gotta be all hands, in my opinion, it has to be an all hands on approach. I mean, all hands on deck approach. And we can't have people sitting on the sidelines shooting folk as we try to get them out the water.
No, you can't. And I want to say this too, for anyone listening who, understands that just because you move someone out of your property, you're going to have to reposition that property, maybe add some paint, hopefully, maybe add some paint, maybe vacuum or whatever else. And that in itself will take time. If you list it with a property manager or agent or whatever, normally that's not an immediate, hey, pull someone in off the street. So there's a time frame there too of getting a new tenant. But you're right. People want to think for themselves. Someone still has to be. And here's the thing: you still have to pay property taxes.
Correct.
Don't let those go too long, because if not, it will you'll lose it.
You'll be on the street. And I think, Lil, and then I'm going to hush. Typically, everyone is looking for a squeaky clean tenant. There might be 5 years before we can consider someone squeaky clean. You pull their credit report, and all of a sudden they had a foreclosure or what have you, or they had an eviction. Yeah. Okay, go ahead and be sanctimonious if you dare. Yeah. Where's your humanity?
Well, guys, that will be all for today. We'll catch you all on the next one. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on this. Do you think that to solve the problem, there should be funding for that, or you think that people should just pull themselves up by the bootstraps? Let us know. I'm sure everyone has different perspectives and opinions on that, but I want to know, whatever your opinion is, why? And then I also want to know, what solution do you have to offer? Because that's really what we all need.
We're all looking for solutions. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much.